Which of the following is an example of a continuous variable? Okay, so continuous variables versus discrete variables. Usually what I say is that a continuous variable can be identified as being something that is a measured quantity, and a discrete variable is going to be identified if you see that something is counted, then it's discrete. And some of these fall in easily into these categories. For example, the number of employees hired by a company, that's something you count. Or the number of correct answers in a multiple choice test, that's something you count. When it comes to measured quantities, the continuous variable, which is what we're looking for here, that is weight loss. Weight loss is something that you measure. And so our answer is going to be C, weight loss. But I should point out that part A is a little bit confusing. The gender of each participant in the study. Now, gender isn't really something you would ever think about measuring or counting for that matter. So we have to have a different way of identifying the difference between continuous variables and discrete variables. Now, one of the ways to do that is to look at a different example. For a continuous variable, continuous variables are something that you don't have clear distinctions between possible values. So, for example, let me see. Let's say something like height. People are not 5 feet tall. When people are growing, they're not 5 foot tall, and then suddenly one day they wake up and they are 5 feet and 1 inch. It doesn't really work like that. Instead, people grow in between these, they grow continuously in between these two heights. So a person is 5 foot as they're growing. If they grow taller than 5 feet, they'll be 5 foot and like a part of an inch, and then another part of an inch, and so on. You can measure anything in between these two values of height. The same is true for any measured quantity, whether it's height or weight or volume or time. There is a continuous spectrum of values. You don't have to be 5 foot or 5 foot 1 or 5 foot 2. You could be in between those values. So that would be continuous. Discrete, however, does not allow for that. With discrete variables, you have to take on one clear value or the next clear value, and so on. So when it comes to gender, then you're going to have male, female. So you're male or you're female. Now, other examples of this would be something like, I don't know, certainly numbers of things are very easy. Like if I said, go count the number of cars in the parking lot, there will be either 0, or there will be 1 car, or 2 cars, or 3 cars, and so on. That's why counted quantities are always discrete. But it could be something else. It could be your dominant hand that you use. You're either right-handed or you're left-handed. You can use both hands, but you're going to have one dominant hand. There's many, many different examples of this. So discrete could be thought of as being the variable where you have clear categories where you have to be one or the other. There's no there's no measurement of being part of the way in between these, unlike continuous variables where there's always that sort of a possibility of falling between values.